As I generally do, I made a video. I'm making a video on the way home. It's not a long video. I'm talking about one horse, LD's Patrick. I made a video shortly before the race explaining that I did have some concerns about tonight's race. He didn't eat all his breakfast, picked away at his lunch and his supper. We drew his blood earlier in the afternoon and got the report back from the clinic, and it did show some ulcer-ish behavior. Now, what I mean by that is there are 50 points of reference on any amount of blood work, and they're not exact. It's not like there's a level that says this is attributed to ulcers for sure. You're talking about a living, breathing animal. A lot of that blood work is best guess, right? And what I mean by that is it's like a patient who can't talk, right? It's exactly what it is. So we have LD's Patrick. His appetite's a little less than it usually is. He's off his feed. He's not 100% physically for today. You draw his blood, and the indicators come back in that blood saying that he could have some ulcers that are a little reactive this week for whatever reason. It could be his diet. It could be a number of things, but his ulcers seem to be acting up. There's a number of ways you can treat it, but certainly not on race day. So you do the best you can. We gave him some hay, and he ate it this afternoon. He warmed up good. He seemed good, but I did have my concerns as I documented them in the earlier video. Now, for the good news. Well, the bad news is he raced poorly. He wasn't horrible. He didn't make a break. He was good at the gate. He behaved himself in the mile. In fact, shockingly, it was probably the best behaved mile he's ever gone in his life. You could never go a mile in 59 seconds following a slowing tempo with LD's Patrick. No, it'd be a calamity. He would just destroy everything. Get in the bike with the horse in front of him, or shut his air off, or run up on top of somebody and make a break. You could never ever control that horse like that. Never. Did what I just said play a role in that? 100% it did. But the fact that mechanically he was as smooth as I've ever seen him. Now, I know somebody's going to say he's pretty choppy in the last turn. Well, he's trying to pick up speed in a turn where it doesn't usually happen, right? Usually LD's Patrick's like 27, 56, 57. Then you let him roll a little bit getting into the last turn. You're in a third quarter of 28 apiece, and he looks a little smoother. When you're in a slowing tempo and then you go to step on the gas in the turn where he is maybe a little vulnerable, he is going to look a little choppy. But I can tell you this from somebody who's driven him an awful lot, that's as good and as smooth as I've ever seen him. Weak, yes, but we know why he was weak. And we can fix that. We can work on ulcers with Gastrogard and just minor supplements that will 100% help quickly, very, very quickly. So looking at his blood work, we can tell what took place tonight. And we also know that we can fix it rather easily. Now, the most important takeaway from today was that LD's Patrick's been making breaks and was not consistent, was not comfortable, just was not good recently. And I'm not making an argument that he was good tonight, but mechanically he's not been better than he was tonight, but most definitely in a schooler. So we know the speed is there because he just had it 6 days ago. Trounced a bunch of pacers in a schooler and looked very, very good doing it on a harder track, a little colder morning. Now it's +1 or 0 at 11 o'clock at night. The track is pretty deep, a little windy out. Yes, I wish he could have had him been better, and he wasn't. But he'll be better next week. Everything that was wrong about tonight can be fixed easily in days. What was much more difficult to fix heading into tonight was the mechanics of his gait. And I think we have him shod properly now. I think he's comfortable now. The fact that he was subdued, remember, usually what happens when horses' ulcers are bothering them, they're extremely agitated. I had made reference to it in the video. If I could control him tonight, it might be a favorable finish, because I fully expected him just to come out of the gate like a lunatic. Instead, he was quiet. He was behaved. Because although maybe he was a little bit under the weather, maybe he was, what happens with the ulcers is their red counts are down, right? Less pop, less raw power sometimes. And I say sometimes because every horse is different. We can fix that. What we can't fix is what he does when he has the pop. And that's where the mechanics comes in. Everything we have on him, the equipment, the shoeing, everything is perfect now. And I know I've been preaching he's coming around, but then he made that break on James that left me scratching my head. So I went and schooled him. The horse was awesome. I believe it was just the rail. It was just a combination of a number of things. He was hot that night. He was not tonight. So we can fix the as I said, the somber way he was tonight, that can be fixed easily. Work on his ulcers, get his appetite up, get his vitamins up throughout the week, and Eldie's Patrick will come back around like that. My biggest concern was mechanics, and I think we have that under control. So I know I've been preaching and protecting Eldie's Patrick for a long time, but now I think it will pay off, I believe. He's made me a liar a couple of times this year, but I don't think it'll be this. He is on the doorstep of the winner's circle, and I believe we'll keep a very close eye on his blood work and his appetite next week. But if we can rectify that blood work, which I know we can in just days, I think 7 days from now could be a much happier video. So, although I did still ramble, I'm 6 minutes talking about a horse that was sixth, I thought it was important to at least unpack what I saw tonight, explain what took place, and then tell you exactly how we're going to rectify it for next week. So, although it was a depressing finish tonight, it wasn't a break. It was behaved, and I think he'll be much, much, much better next week he races. Take care.